How did a single YouTube video cause nationwide protests in Romania, prompting the president to respond? On the 9th of December 2025, an independent journalism group called Recorder uploaded a 2-hour video titled Captured Justice, outlining corruption issues with Romania's justice system. Simply put, politicians and their cronies steal public money, scam people, take bribes and evade taxes, and they get away with it because of a group of corrupt magistrates who control the justice system and protects them. And the same magistrates also enjoy privileges such as retiring at 48 years old and receiving pensions higher than the president's salary. Of course, all paid from our taxpayer money. This isn't new information. We hear about it routinely on the news every evening.
Nu știu dacă funcționează ceva mai bine în România decât corupția.
But seeing everything put together with documents, timelines, names and testimonies from disillusioned judges and prosecutors was infuriating. So what is going on exactly? The Romanian justice system consists of judges and prosecutors coordinated by the Superior Council of Magistracy or CSM, which manages the appointments, promotions and discipline of magistrates. The highest position in the system is the President of the High Court of Cassation and Justice, and there's also the National Anti-Corruption Directorate or DNA, a branch of prosecution responsible for investigating corruption. In theory, the justice system of a functional democratic country should be independent and make decisions based only on the law, not on political pressure, public opinion or personal interest. However, too much independence could lead to issues if those in power do not have the best intentions. Thanks to legislative changes introduced in 2022 under Justice Minister Cătălin Predoiu and voted for by PSD, PNL and UDMR, things got a bit complicated. These changes were supposed to defend the independence of the justice system. Instead, they granted unchecked power to a small inner group that controls the careers of other judges and prosecutors. And this group ensures that easily controllable, corruption-compliant individuals were placed in key roles that enables cronies to get away with crimes. Meanwhile, honest, hardworking judges and prosecutors are sidelined, threatened, and intimidated. The main tactic is to use administrative tricks to stall court cases until the statute of limitation expires and criminals escape. Namely, the Bucharest Court of Appeal, or CAB, has faced criticism for letting cases against politically connected defendants expire under statutes of limitation, despite having solid video and audio evidence of the crime. The CAB is widely believed to remain under the influence of its former president, Lia Savonea, who is now the president of the High Court and is widely viewed as the main villain of the story. Savonea herself is a polarizing figure who ran unopposed for the High Court's presidency earlier this year. This raised suspicion over why no one else applied, especially since many people familiar with her past rulings opposed to her in this position. She issued questionable rulings in influence trafficking cases involving already convicted individuals with questionable reasonings. She allowed the son of a football player to walk free after killing someone while speeding, heavily intoxicated and running a red light. She delayed the revolution case in which several politicians, including former President Ion Iliescu, were charged with crimes against humanity, and as a result, Iliescu died without ever being held accountable for actions that led to hundreds of deaths and thousands of injuries. And of course, she handed a suspended 8-month sentence to a middle-aged man who abused his 13-year-old niece, claiming that the child consented because she didn't tell her parents about it. She has also been involved in controversies beyond the courtroom, with a career closely linked to the PSD, including figures such as Liviu Dragnea and Cătălin Voicu. Although accused and investigated for political influence and lack of impartiality, she has faced no consequences. One of CAB's biggest controversies involves Bucharest Sector 5 mayor, who was charged with bribery, abuse of power, and money laundering. And the entire panel of judges was replaced 5 times, restarting the process each time with 150 documented delays until the statute of limitations expired. Judges have publicly complained about being removed from cases arbitrarily, delaying court proceedings, and similar concerns have been raised within the National Anti-Corruption Directorate as well. Former Chief Prosecutor Călin Bologa delivered pretty solid results as shown in the agency's annual reports, and when his first term was over, he applied for another. Justice Minister Predoiu, however, appointed Marius Voiniac, a controversial potential prosecutor linked to blocking a plagiarism investigation involving former Prime Minister Nicolae Ciucă. Prosecutors say Voineac centralized control, blocked sensitive cases, and removed investigators working on politically connected suspects without explanation. Many prosecutors left DNA rather than take part in what they saw as corruption. So how did people react to all this information? Recorder is a well-known investigative journalism group. They previously exposed major scams like Nordis, in which politically connected cronies sold people apartments that either didn't exist or were sold to multiple buyers, and the earnings were used for luxury travels on private planes with fight logs showing several high-level politicians on board. After Recorder exposed the scheme, public outrage led to legislative changes designed to prevent similar scams. And because of this, many people trust Recorder. But even if you don't, everything in the documentary can be cross-checked using official court databases, legislative histories, and public documents, all of which confirm what was presented. The documentary became so popular that public TV channels rebroadcast it, reaching record viewership. And there are even plans for cinema screenings. Thousands of people have taken to the streets every evening since its release, demanding the dismissal of Lia Savonea as president of the High Court, the dismissal of Voineac as head of the DNA, the removal of former Justice Minister Cătălin Predoiu from his current role as Minister of Internal Affairs and Vice Prime Minister, legislative changes to revoke the excessive powers of CSM and eliminate special pensions for magistrates, and meaningful reforms within the system. After this massive public outrage, the President and Prime Minister commented, claiming they would look into the matter, but so far no concrete results. Meanwhile, Cătălin Predoiu was awarded in the United States for his work in upholding justice, once again demonstrating how little Americans know about what is happening outside their borders. The Bucharest Court of Appeal held an embarrassing press conference during which one brave judge unexpectedly stood up and stated that everything in the documentary was true.
Am venit aici ca să-l susțin pe la colegul Laurențiu Beșu și să spun că tot ceea ce a spus el acolo este adevărat. Dacă va fi contrazis, este o minciună.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
The institution continued attempting to discredit the documentary without answering journalists' questions or addressing any of the claims. Then this happened. Politically connected media and the court began to smear and intimidate the judges who spoke up, with potential professional retaliation hanging over them. Eventually, hundreds of judges and prosecutors signed an open letter supporting those who spoke out against corruption in the system. But most bizarrely, ultranationalists who had previously complained non-stop about corruption and the justice system turned against protesters and Recorder. Let me remind you that you can check the Senate's website to see who voted in favor of perks and special pensions for judges, and those were PSD, PNL, UDMR, and unsurprisingly, the self-proclaimed anti-system far-right party AUR. For months now, the Prime Minister has been trying to revoke the insane amounts of special pensions for magistrates, but those efforts have been blocked by Constitutional Court, delays, and protests organized by the CSM. Now, Romania has been politically divided since last year, but this should not become a political argument that turns ordinary citizens against each other. We are all victims of this. Our taxes keep rising because we have a huge budget deficit caused by embezzlement and tax evasion, and the people responsible continue to steal because they never face consequences. That is because magistrates use procedural and administrative tricks to delay cases until the statute of limitations expires, allowing those who empty our pockets to walk free. Magistrates' special pensions place an additional burden on the state budget, and nothing can be done about it because, thanks to laws introduced under Predoiu and passed by multiple parties, the Superior Council of Magistracy has unchecked power. And that's how justice is captured in Romania.
Nu știu dacă funcționează ceva mai bine în România decât corupția.